In this video, we're going to be looking at essential business books that any small business owner or entrepreneur, in my humble opinion, needs to read, and not just read, devour, like literally just tear it to shreds. Read it first, then tear it to shreds, devour it and take it all in and digest it so that you can be it and understand how businesses are run effectively and efficiently, both inside and out. And that's what's important. And these are fundamental books that will enable you to do this. So if that sounds good to you, please hit that like button and that subscribe thingy and the notification bell, because what we do here is we help you grow your business without the growing pains and enable you to understand how to run your business effectively like a CEO so that you can have the business you set out to have, as well as the lifestyle, without losing your sanity in the process. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Hit it. Bill Gates reads about 50 books a year, Warren Buffett 5 to 6 hours a day, and according to his brother, Elon Musk reads about 2 books a day. Yeah, 2 books a day. So, are you noticing a pattern here? Successful people read. And I myself sometimes will read. I try and read at least 1 to 2 books a week, and sometimes I'll binge read. Instead of doing a Netflix binge, I'll sit there and binge read about 10 to 20 books a week. It's really important for us to be able to read. It's a way for us to level up and to extract the knowledge and experience that other people have gone through on their journey. We are challenged every single day. We are challenged every single day as entrepreneurs in our mindset, in our confidence, in our ability to lead, in our ability to understand how people behave, in our ability to understand how markets behave, so on and so forth. And being able to extract that knowledge from these masters that have gone through it and succeeded and have actually overcome a lot of struggle, and they've distilled that information down, short of actually learning directly from those masters, reading these books are incredibly essential. Now, this list of books here is not by any stretch of the imagination a best business books list. Best business books, it depends on what perspective you're looking at. In the same way that someone says to you, what's the best car? It depends. Are you looking at luxury, performance, energy efficiency? There's a whole bunch of things that you're looking at. However, these books will pretty much rank high up there in a best business books list anyway. But these are not mindset books. They are not financial books. They are not other types of books which are also amazing in those particular areas. I'm going to cover those other books in probably a different video, but what I'm going to cover today are the books that I feel are fundamental for you and for me to understand how businesses run effectively and how they work and how we as business owners should be able to run them and lead them, because we're not taught how to lead, we're not taught how to run businesses, we're taught how to be employees. So this set of books, I believe, are fundamental, really fundamental for us to understand how businesses run and grow. So without further ado, let's get into them. So book number 1, I was thinking about how to present these. Like, you know, a lot of people sit there and they will do their and I'm not going to do that. Absolutely not. No way. I'm just going to sit there and just have these things pop up digitally. All right. But anyway, the E-Myth Revisited. This is the first book that I think every business owner, every single business owner needs to read, because it's one of those books that really tries to explain what it means to be an entrepreneur or a small business owner or a business owner. It really sits there and sort of breaks apart the whole idea that a small business owner should not essentially be the technician in their business. They need to be able to remove themselves as quickly as possible from the business so that they can enable the systems inside the business to work for them. And this is something that a lot of small business owners struggle with, because we are not trained or taught at schools or universities or wherever we go. We are not taught to be able to run and lead. We are taught to be able to follow, and we are taught to be able to be experts in particular fields. So when we go out and we are experts in that field, we feel the necessity to be able to carry on being those experts. And we end up quitting our jobs and going into business and saying, right, let me run this business because you know what? I can do what that business owner was doing. And you'll sit there and you will try and be the expert and be the technician, as this book calls it, and you will end up suffering and struggling and having so much overwhelm. And then you're going to realize that business is not just about being the expert in the field. It's about having so many different functions in the business. You've got the sales function, the marketing function. I talk about all the different essential functions in a business in this video, and you've got so many functions, an operations function, so many functions, and you are trying to do 8 or 9 or 10 jobs. And that's why, no wonder, you will burn out and you will get overwhelmed. And this is not what we want a small business owner or an entrepreneur to do. And this book walks you through that process in terms of, actually, it looks at it from an interesting perspective, where it says, assume your business is a prototype and assume your business, you're going to franchise it out. So it's not necessarily saying that you should franchise out your business, but what it's saying is, by franchising out your business as a concept in your head, you are basically saying to yourself that I'm going to remove myself out of this business as quickly as possible. And if this was copied and replicated as other businesses without me in it, how will this run as a system? And I think that that's a really important way of looking at running your business effectively as a CEO. So my first book recommendation, right from the start, before you even start a business or early on in your business journey or any point in your business journey, if you have not read this book is a must read. Book number 2, Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business by Gino Wickman. Oh, I need to do that whole presenting the book thing again. I'm not going to do it. It's too cheesy. I'm not going to do it. Book number 2, Traction by Gino Wickman. Now, I don't think this book is perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot there that's actually missing, but as a book that really starts you out on your business, after you've read The E-Myth Revisited, you understand now that you as a business owner need to take this and approach this as a business owner, where you're going to put in the right systems in place. And this is what Traction does initially, is it actually gives you a step-by-step set of tools that you need to look at your business. It says, right, you need to have a vision, which is really important. And I've been talking about this in a lot of my videos. You need to have a vision, because actually, if you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going. You don't know if you've got there. And what's the point, really? I mean, you're just going to sit there and try and run your business on a day-to-day basis, and it's not going to get anywhere. And if the chances are things are not going well, it's not making profit, things are overwhelming, then you're going to get stuck there, and that's when a lot of misery happens and a lot of burnout happens. So the sooner you understand where you're heading, the sooner you understand where you're going, that's going to be crucial as part of your business. And this book helps you get there, because it tells you, how do I put a vision down? How do I now start putting the right systems in place? What kind of data do I need to measure? What people do I need? And it starts giving you a step-by-step process to be able to understand how you run your business effectively. So this book is a great follow-on, even though it's not written by the same person, to the E-Myth Revisited, because the E-Myth Revisited tells you, okay, as a concept, you need to understand that running a business is not about you doing everything and you being Superman or Superwoman. This is about you removing yourself from the business and making sure that you understand how to run it and grow it effectively from the outside using the right systems. And this book helps you start putting these systems in place. So that's book number 2 for me. Once you've understood the E-Myth Revisited, and once you've started out in the very early stages of your business, Traction is a really, really good book. Not perfect, but probably one of the best ones out there to enable you to start putting the right systems and vision and so on in place. Book number 3 is Rocket Fuel by actually the same author, Gino Wickman, but also co-authored by Mark C. Winters. Now, this book for me, and for many people that read it, is an absolute eye-opener, because we as entrepreneurs sit there and we try and grow our businesses, and we try and we struggle, because so many times we're sitting there overwhelmed and not understanding why this business is not working like clockwork, like it should. And people tell us, you need to put systems in place, and you need to measure it, and you need to do all of these things. And then we realize, actually, we're visionaries and we are not geared up to do any of that stuff. We're geared up to solve problems. We're geared up to be entrepreneurs. We're geared up to have shiny object syndrome, because it's important to have shiny object syndrome so that we can actually say, here's a problem, let's find a solution. Here's a problem, let's find a solution. Here's my super big, hairy, audacious goal. Here's my vision. And this is what visionaries do. And these are usually the people that start businesses and have that vision to grow their company to something that's absolutely phenomenal. And that's the visionary, and that's what this book talks about. It talks about two different types of people that are absolutely essential, that you must have in your business for it to actually work. You've got the visionary, great. Most entrepreneurs and small business owners are visionaries. There are a lot of people that are not, but most are. And on the other side, you've got something or someone that's called an integrator. And this is the integrator, who's the person who wants to sit there and actually look at the numbers and look at the processes and look at the systems and run the day-to-day operations of the business. And they love numbers and they love spreadsheets and they love order and structure and how things are measured and flowcharts and all of these things. They enable the business to function effectively. And without an integrator inside your business will be all over the place. And understanding what the roles and the responsibilities of a visionary is, and what the roles of the responsibilities of the integrator is as well, is going to be really important for you to understand. These are the people. Am I this person? Am I an integrator or am I a visionary? If I'm a visionary, I will need to get an integrator as soon as possible. If I'm an integrator, I'll need to have a visionary, and so on and so forth. And now this is not an extreme spectrum where you've got someone who's clearly only a visionary and someone who's clearly only an integrator. You will have a lot of people that are on that spectrum somewhere in between. And what this book does is it enables you to identify who you are as a small business owner, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and who you need to bring in as soon as possible so that the business can run effectively and efficiently. And I think this book is really crucial and essential to have. The reason why I put it third after Traction is that most people will start their businesses on their own first. So you've got the E-Myth Revisited, where you understand the concept of how a business should run. Then you've got Traction, where you're saying, right, let me put my vision down, let me start growing my business. And then you've got Rocket Fuel, where it enables you to understand, as you start to grow, these are two essential people that need to run the business. One who's the visionary and one who is the integrator, who actually runs the things on an operational level every single day. That's book number 3, Rocket Fuel. If you haven't read it, please make sure that you do read it. I'm linking all of these books, by the way, down in the description. So just have a look and click on them and it will take you to where you can read them. So the fourth and final book that we're going to be covering in this video is Scaling Up by Verne Harnish. And it talks about mastering the Rockefeller habits. Rockefeller was one of the richest people in the US at one point in time, and it looks at how he ran his businesses, but then it's updated them now. By the way, do not download the audiobook for this because there are a lot of charts and a lot of tables inside the printed book, which I recommend is the one that you get, because, well, you can get the digital version and sort of scribble all over it if you've got the right tool sets to do it, but it really is more about the printed version and understanding, and it's beautifully presented. The charts are colored and organized in a certain way. Now this book is slightly more advanced than the other 3 books we've just covered. This is when you've got several employees in your business and you really want to start scaling the business and taking it to the next level. You need to also, at this point in time, have both the integrator and the visionary inside the business, because when you look at the business in the way that it splits it up, it actually divides it into 4 sections: people, strategy, execution, and cash. Different parts of these different sections will require either the visionary or the integrator. And if you only have one of them, it's not going to really work, because it looks at the day-to-day organizational operations of the business, as well as the vision and the strategy and what you need to do to be able to get there. So slightly more sort of down the line. However, I would recommend you read it from today so that you understand where you're heading. Like we said, you need to have a vision and you need to have a strategy for your business, and understanding where your business is going to head towards and what things you're going to need to look out for down the line is going to be part of your planning process, so that it is in the back of your mind. So try and read this book. as soon as you can, but it's one that comes slightly after it. When I said this book looks at 4 different sections, people, strategy, execution, and cash, it really looks at it from all different perspectives. Even when you're looking at people, what kind of meetings you should have and what kind of meetings you shouldn't have. You know, you don't want death by meetings. And also it looks at other things in terms of strategy and how you look at the business from a strategic perspective and actually just putting it down on a 1-page strategic plan and so on and so forth. And it looks at how you execute, how you look at the cash flow in the business and so on and so forth. And the way that it structures it is really taking your business from where we looked at traction, for example, to the next level of where you want to actually have your business running on an operational but also a visionary perspective down the line to enable you to scale to 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures and beyond. This book can really take you there from a book perspective and all the books that are out there to enable you to understand how your business should operate functionally from the beginning, the E-Myth, Traction, Rocket Fuel, and this book. I think these 4 books are sufficient enough to enable you to really understand how businesses operate from start to when they get to a large level. A bonus book, which we can look at later on, is Blitzscaling. If you really want to scale your business ridiculously fast, Blitzscaling is a book that you can have a look at as well. I'm not going to cover it in this video per se, because I think it's the first 4 books that are really essential. That's kind of like an extra if you're interested to see how really big billion-dollar companies scale their businesses. It's a nice, fascinating read. However, it's not something that I would recommend for small businesses. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.